we are heading upwards. You can see the Trump rally has extended. Didn't go up quite as far overnight and yesterday, but it has kind of seemed to level out. And you can see that on the 1 hour chart right through here, pretty much leveled out versus the previous evening overnight trading. I mean, it kind of was going up. This time it's pretty much flat, and then it had a drop, this big drop. It was about an hour and a half this morning from about 4:30 to 5:30, 4 o'clock to 5:30, I believe it was. So that's telling me that we are definitely losing momentum. And I can also see on the MACD here that it looks like it's going to tip over. So because of that, and also on the 5-minute chart, and not quite the 15-minute chart yet, but for very two short-term charts here, I'm seeing that it's hit resistance level, and it's probably going to drop. So I did a short and put an exit order in down here at the SMA, and then I lowered it just a little bit as it started to drop. And I think I found that point by looking at the tops of the candles here. Anyway, it did fill, and so my very first order I made $200, which I was very tickled about. And then I waited for a second, and it seemed like it bounced a little bit, but then started to go down. So I thought, okay, I was still in the mindset it was probably going to go down. Now the 15-minute chart SMA, it looks like it's also tipping down as well. So we've got all the indicators on the shorter term charts kind of agreeing with each other. So I do not think this was a bad call here. However, and it did start to drop a little bit there. So I put in my exit order, I thought at a fairly conservative spot. It was the Fibonacci line that was down below it, which also was kind of like just above the bottom of the candles there. I thought that was a pretty good spot, even though it was a long ways down there. And it did start to drop a little bit, but then it bounced, started to go up, and kind of surprised me there. So I thought, okay, well, let's try to look ahead and see where it might go. I was looking at the blue SMA over here, and it also coincided with that Fibonacci line there. So we are really close to hitting what I think might be a ceiling resistance level. And just to be on the safe side, because we were there, we have 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to opening bell. I decided to put in a stop order here just in case, because basically I lost all my profit on the first one, and I could see how it had bounced quite a bit. It had, and I know that it's been very bullish, so I was very wary that it might not go the way that I anticipated it to go. So I put in a stop, and then I got stopped out. So I lost all my profits, and I lost $87.50 in addition to that. So that was very unfortunate. But, sometimes you just can't always guess it right. So we got to kind of go with the flow and deal with it as it comes. So at this point, it shot up, and I was very glad that I had gotten out. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out what is going on here. It kind of peaked out and then started to drop. And I could see that there was a possibility of it, because this was kind of like the highest it's ever been. And I would call that a definite rejection wick right there. That's kind of what my mindset was. And the MACD was super high. So I did another short. And unfortunately, I got in like on, the lower part of this candle here. And then it started to go up. So I'm actually in a loss position here in a short, but not too worried at the moment. And then we formed another rejection candle over here, and we have a red candle, and we have red candles over here, and we have a high MACD, which is tipping over. I was not too worried that it wasn't going to drop at this point. And especially you can kind of see it kind of curve over here. Put an exit order in just above the SMAs here, and it did not get down very far. It came really close to filling that order. Unfortunately, I did not get filled, and then it started to go up, and it actually broke a new high. Now the MACD does not look good at all, and you can see the MACDs on these charts are actually pointing up. So that was not a good call at all. And so I decided that I was just wrong about my call on that, and that it was going up. and probably going up to the next Fibonacci line up here. And you can see that on the Fibonacci line on the 15-minute chart here, Fibonacci retracement lines are things that I put in there, but you can see them interact with the candles. Like right here, the candles are tracking right on the Fibonacci line. And when it dropped down, it went to the bottom, the bottom hit the Fibonacci line and bounced off of that. And then right here, it kind of hit that and acted as a resistance level. So I do think these Fibonacci lines are pretty accurate for right now. So I do think that's probably a decent spot for it to get up to. And if I switched at this point, even though I am now at a $362 loss, I don't think I want to be in a short. So I think, even getting out at that big of a loss is really the best call. So I put in an order for 2, which will do a reverse. It will get out and then into a long and probably ride it up to the next point. So I do think that was a good call. It didn't really do much dropping below that, a little bit, but not much. It held pretty well, and then it started to go up, and I have my exit order in just like right at that line there. And then it went up there, and then it filled. And I had also predicted that it was probably going to drop at that point, but I didn't know how far it would drop. So I didn't want to do a short because that would be counter trend. So it dropped, and I was very excited to see that. And then when it bounced like this, and I could see the MACD starting to turn, thought this was a good time to do a long, to try to ride it up one more time. So I got into a long, and of course it kind of hit that and dropped down and tested that level one more time, and then it took forever. It went up and tested it again, and then tested the bottom, and it's like, oh man. So I sat here for a long, long time before it finally turned around, and I was worried through this time, but not enough to change my mind about what it was going to do. So at this point right here, I recorded this screenshot because it was like the first really promising sign that we're ready to turn up. So we've got the MACD behaving itself and the green lines. Now, you can't see it on the screen here, but the 5-minute chart probably is the one piece of information here that's not looking too good, though the candles are looking good. So it went up and got my exit order in up there, just a couple ticks below the highest that it's been, and it scared me a little bit. It started to drop, and then it went up, and it finally got filled. So I ended up just about the same place that I had ended on my first trade. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think I stayed flexible in my thinking today, and ended up at $201. Made 5 trades, and they were bigger trades today. You can see that they are almost all of them over $200. So big movements, big trades. Might have held on just a little bit longer than I should have with some of those trades, but kind of got to do what you see happening in the market too, and the different levels that you see. So I don't really regret anything that I did. Just that one short that I made probably wasn't the best call. But anyway,